We dive right in on baseball tonight with game one of a huge four-game set between the Pods and the Dodgers. L.A. half game up in the division. Greg Maddux fielding his position deftly.
He's done that his whole career.
Yes, he has. A lot of gold gloves for the pitcher. David Wells, meanwhile, in a scoreless game, serving one up to J.D. Drew. Here comes Jeff Kent. Going to be a close play at the plate, but Kent huffs and he puffs and he beats the relay, and, well, Piazza dropped the ball anyway, so it's 1-0 Dodgers. Next batter, Julio Lugo. Boy, do they need him to step up.
He's only been hitting about $179 since he came over to Dodger Town, and it's nice to see. And it's all veterans. It's veterans doing their thing.
That's a big knock as Drew scores to make it 2-0. And, oh, by the way, Maddux gets Dave Roberts to end the sixth inning. He's got a no-no through six.
You know what? 63 pitches in the first 6 innings. So Greg Maddux has a shot. And there's no rain in sight like that previous game.
The other time, his first start as a Dodger was that rain out.
Wouldn't that be a nice spot to throw a no-hitter for the Dodgers? Welcome to Baseball Tonight, everyone. Scott Reese, Orestes Destrada, and Buster Olney. We will keep you abreast of the situation with Greg Maddux, the no-hitter, the Dodgers, and the Padres. However, right now we turn our attention to one Pedro Martinez, who made his first start back off the disabled list as the Mets took on the Pirates. Bottom one, Martinez coming off that calf injury, facing Jack Wilson. He left it up, and Wilson kind of fists it into right field. So, man aboard. Next up, Freddie Sanchez. Left that one out. Take your base.
That was a common problem for Pedro tonight. Got the ball up a whole bunch.
Well, Jason Bay found that to his liking. Wilson in, Sanchez in, and just like that, the Bucks have a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and he just was not feeling comfortable in his body there today throwing. Not only was he up, but he also was erratic with his pitches. Not at all, normal Pedro. Even when he's not throwing hard, he has great control.
Ryan Domit, the RBI double. Ronnie Paulino, the RBI single. 4-0 Pirates, and Martinez does not make it out of the third.
And what he said after the game was that Willie Randolph came over and talked to him. He said if he tried to talk to Willie, he would have broken down.
68 pitches, 3 innings, 4 earned. Top 5. It's 4-1 Pittsburgh. Paul Maholm gets Paul LaDuca displeased with a call.
How can you tell?
Right about here.
Now, yeah, you're done, kid. So we go to the 9th, 5-3 game. And this pitch, equally borderline. But Solomon Torres gets the save. When it was over, Pedro discussed his performance and reaction.
I have worked so hard to get back, and it seems like what I've done doesn't compensate for the results I got today.
Were you actually crying?
I was about to snap and let it all out, but thank God Willie was there and just told me it was going to be okay, because I was just about to snap and I couldn't talk to Willie because I knew tears would come out. And actually, I felt like crying at that time out of frustration, but I kept my composure.
You look at Pedro's numbers, first start off the disabled list throughout his career. In the first 4, tremendous. No decisions because he didn't go deep into ball games, but the ERA was great at 2.37. Last 2 times, however, both this season, that ERA an even 8 in the first start off the disabled list. Meanwhile, Buster, the Mets missed a chance to clinch the National League East today. However, they're going to steamroll into the playoffs, but they're not quite firing on all cylinders as they were back in May and June. So we play some 3 up, 3 down, really assess the strengths and weaknesses of this team. Give us the 3 up with the Mets.
I get the easy part. I get to talk about 3 strengths. And the first thing, without question, is the depth of their lineup. They have what is basically an American League type lineup where you have guys from the top to the bottom who grind on pitchers. Carlos Beltran right at the top. Then you have Carlos Delgado and David Wright. All the way through the middle of this lineup, this is a group of hitters who are going to challenge pitchers, drive up pitch counts, create all kinds of problems, and they have enough depth in the roster to have a designated hitter. Second strength, their bullpen. Overall, 3.09 ERA. At the back end of that, Billy Wagner, 86 strikeouts in 67 1/3 inning, but he's only one piece. Aaron Heilman, Chad Bradford, Guillermo Mota, Pedro Feliciano. I mean, this is a tremendous group of pitchers. And then the final strength, I think Jose Reyes in the postseason is going to be tremendous. 64 extra base hits, 57 stolen bases. He is to the game right now what Ricky Henderson once was. He's a type of guy who can change a game with his speed, and to have that guy in a game when it's 1-1, 0-0 in the 7th, 8th inning October, that's going to be tremendous for the Mets.
All right, he left you the tough part.
Yeah.
Give us the three Mets weaknesses heading into the playoffs.
Because they don't have a whole lot of weaknesses. He's done a great job, that being Omar Minaya and Tony Bernazard, putting together this team. But if I have to look at some weaknesses, the one glaring at us at our face right away, and that is Pedro Martinez not being completely healthy, possibly. So they need him to be at full strength. Not so much throwing 95, but throwing his strikes, being comfortable to be able to go 6 or 7, maybe a little more than that, though they do have a great bullpen, as Buster alluded to. The second thing that concerns me a little bit is that third and fourth starter in postseason. You are going to go with El Duque, who's a veteran, and I feel fairly comfortable with that. But that fourth one, Steve Trachel has not pitched very well his last couple of times out. He's had kind of sort of a fortunate year that he's had some of the best run support in the major leagues and has given him those 14 victories. And then the third thing is actually Billy Wagner. Believe it or not, he has not done very well in postseason. He's got a 7.71 ERA in 5 games and 4 postseason series. That concerns me a little bit, though. I'll take my chances with a Billy Wagner. I'll take my chances with El Duque, and I'll take my chances with Pedro. So not a whole lot of bad things in those 3 down.
And let's be honest, Pedro is probably the most important player heading into the postseason for any team.
Any team.
Yeah.
No question.
Well, you may as well start saving up those Subway tokens, because now on ESPN.com, well, our experts believe that the Mets and Yankees are on a collision course for the Fall Classic. The power rankings have New York and New York 1 and 2.
3 Up, 3 Down is brought to you by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer.
Now, the Mets could still clinch the division on Friday if the Astros were to beat the Phillies. And you had Roger Clemens back after missing 1 start with a bad groin. And here he walks Ryan Howard because, well, Ryan Howard's really, really good. 27 intentional walks for Howard. That's a franchise record. After a walk to DeLucci loads the bases. Whoa! Strategy backfires.
Yeah, the strategy backfired there, but that was a strategy to have because he was 0 for 6 against him, but he was up high. His groin, was still a little tightening up on him.
That was Pat Burrell with a grand slam, but now it's a 4-1 game. Make it a 4-3 game. Luke Scott's 6th. We go to the 9th. Tom Gordon trying to close it out, and here's where it gets really interesting. Aubrey Huff to first. Howard, couldn't handle it. Must have been a hole in the glove, huh?
That's 1 extra out. Let's count them.
Yeah, because you only need 3 that you're supposed to have.
Yeah, well, now with 2 outs at first and second, this should end the game, right? Jason Lane to left. Jeff Conine, what happened? And pinch runner Charlton Jimerson has to hustle to beat the throw. It's a force at third. So now we get the bases loaded, 1 out. Humberto Quintero. A fly ball will tie the ball game. A ground ball to second will end the ball game.
Talk about a pick-me-up.
Astros miss a chance to help out. And the Phils with a 4-3 win, so the Mets have to wait another day with that champagne on ice. Johan Santana, a heavy favorite for the AL Cy Young, but might he be vying for more prestigious hardware? Tonight's outing would be telling. It doesn't get any bigger than this. 2 teams separated by a half game, playing 4 down the stretch. We will update you on the Dodgers pods and Greg Maddox's bid for a no-hitter. And who dialed long distance on a Friday? Who did it in grand style? Put runs on the board in bunches as we touch them all and show you the gems on Baseball Tonight. More steroid allegations surrounding Barry Bonds. ESPN, the magazine's Sean Assail, is reporting that Balco founder Victor Conti bragged to an associate that Bonds had intimate knowledge of the designer steroids that he received from Balco, and that the Giant slugger took an active interest in what these substances contain. Now, if this is true, Conti's assertion about Bonds' knowledge would seem to contradict the outfielder's sworn testimony before a grand jury in 2004. Meanwhile, Bonds and the Giants in action against the Cardinals. Brad Hennessy in for Jason Schmidt, who is scratched with a bad back. Bottom one, Scotty Rowland leaving the yard for the 20th time this year. That's 4-1.
6 straight years of 20-plus home runs with Scotty Rowland.
Bottom two, Chris Duncan making Daddy proud.
I say the pitching coach likes what his son's doing here.
Yeah, 18th of the year for the kid, and it's 6-1. 6th inning, Rowland once just was not enough.
No.
21st of the year, it's 7-2 Cardinals.
He's had a very, very good year. Hasn't hit as many home runs as you expect, but he's been an RBI machine and played great third base.
Speaking of RBI machines,
yeah.
Pujols, little looper, that plates a pair to make it 10-2, and second bat of the inning for Rowland with the bases loaded. Oh, well, that's just a double.
Here's the bottom line for the Giants. Somebody besides Matt Cain has got to start pitching better if they're going to make the playoffs.
And Schmidt's been fairly consistent down the stretch, but if that back's flaring up, you can pretty much forget it. 7 RBI for Rowland and a 14-4 victory. So the Giants sit 3 back of the Dodgers, 2.5 behind San Diego, and of course those numbers will change based on what transpires with the Dodgers and the Padres in Los Angeles. White Sox and A's, and Esteban Loaiza versus John Garland. Good pitching matchup. Rob Makoviak, that just happened. 5th of the year for Makoviak, and the Sox out on top 1-0.
Well, Ozzie Guillen says he's going to play who hits down the stretch.
Tadahito Iguchi, he hits. And Jay Payton making a nice catch in front of the wall.
He had a rough day a couple of weeks ago, remember? Well, he's a lot better outfielder than that. He's a pretty good left fielder.
Still 1-1 in the 4th. Nobody out, 2 on, and Nick Swisher pops it up. Now Jermaine Dye makes the catch, little flat-footed in right field, not fundamentally sound. Eric Chavez scores, and the A's now lead at 3-2, bottom of the 7th inning. That's a big series. We'll keep you updated from Oaktown. Orioles and Tigers, Jeremy Bonderman, winless in his last 9 starts, really needed a solid effort, and he gave it to him today.
He had his slider, which is one of the best sliders in the American League, just biting. And these guys were fishing, understandably so, because that thing was exploding.
Bottom 4, it's 5-0 Detroit. Craig Monroe right back up the box. Pudge in to make it 6-0. After a pitching change, Maglio Ordonez, well, he didn't care who's pitching.
Jim Leyland, the manager of the Tigers, says he's got a lot of outhouse or castle guys who strike out or hit home runs. Tonight, a lot of castle guys.
Yeah, pretty much everybody hitting tonight. The Tigers, well, they enjoyed this game. Sean Casey, the RBI double. Tigers get 8 runs in the 4th. Best inning of the season for a team that's had a lot of big innings. Oh, but there's more. Brandon Inge going granny for the 3rd time in his career. When all is said and done, 17-2. Just a safety for Baltimore.
What a huge win for the Tigers tonight.
So the Twins need a win to keep pace. They had the right guy on the hill, Johan Santana. You see the numbers in September. Ryan Garco, the kid from Stanford, going up and giving the Indians a 2-0 lead.
You see the fastball there up in the zone at 91, and you know that he throws later on in the game 94, 95, sometimes 97. So you can get him a little bit early. Not a lot, but you can get him a little bit.
That was un-Torrey Hunter-like in center field, but that is Joe Mauer-like. Great blockage of home plate, so instead of a tie game, it's 4-3 after the Gutierrez double. Top 9 we go, still a 4-3 game, and with the bases loaded 1 out, Justin Morneau ties it up. We got bonus baseball.
They play small ball. I mean, we know that Minnesota knows how to play small ball as good as anybody, and that was a good job right there by Justin.
In the 10th, it's that man again, Garco. Bases loaded, 1 out. High chopper could be 2. Castillo, Bartlett. Oh, but the throw is wide, and the Indians win it 5-4.
Bartlett just didn't realize he probably had a little bit more time. Cleveland now 22 wins their last 35 games.
So the Tigers once again extend that lead to 2 over the Twins and 3.5 over the White Sox, who once again are currently down 3-2 out in Oakland. Wildcard has the Twins by a 1.5 over Chicago. And meanwhile, Johan Santana, Buster, is pretty much everybody's pick at this point as the American League Cy Young Award winner. But you suggest that he might set his sights a tad bit higher than that.
I think you can make a strong argument that he's the most valuable player in the American League. If you consider he's made 32 starts, and of those, tonight was the first time that the Twins have actually lost with him pitching in the second half. Their overall record with Santana on the mound, 26-6, 20 games over 500. When anybody else pitches on the Twins, they're only 5 games over 500. You think about that. They're the 27 Yankees. When he pitches, they're a little bit better than 500 when anybody else pitches. To me, that's the biggest difference maker in the American League, you look at these numbers that he has compared to the other starters, I think more than Jermaine Dye, more than Derek Jeter, more than Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer. If you take him off the Twins, they're basically irrelevant in the playoff conversation.
Yeah, I think that he is a fantastic pick, but not the pick for the American League. You are wrong. Not the pick for the American League MVP, and that pick is going to be Derek Jeter, even though there's several players here that you can pick from. But I think DJ is going to be, and I'll tell you why. Number one, he has been the glue to this team, so the intangibles have also come into play. The tangible things, 346, leads the AL, 13 home runs. From the number 2 hole, he's probably going to drive in 100 runs. For the 10th time in his career, he's going to score. He scored over 100 runs. Only Ruth and Gehrig did that for the Yankees. But it's the little things that he does. The defense, keeping this team together when you lost 2 major guns in the corners in Matsui and Sheffield. All those things on a day-to-day. That's why captains are usually everyday players, because they're going to affect your team on an everyday basis as opposed to starters. So that's why I think that he's going to be my guy, and he's also possibly going to garnish votes that these other guys are going to lose.
Yeah, I think Jeter's going to win because he's going to have the most consistent 1, 2, and 3 spots in the ballot where those Midwest guys are going to take votes away from each other.
So it's going to stay in New York.
Yeah.
He's going to just be handed over from A-Rod.
Jeter didn't get a chance to augment his MVP status on Friday as the Red Sox Yankees were rained out. They will play a pair on Sunday. Mobile ESPN alert from Los Angeles. Bottom 6, 2-0 Dodgers. Russell Martin against Rudy Cianez with 2 aboard, and that won't get it done. So we go to the 7th, and Greg Maddux no-hit bid. First man he faces, Todd Walker. Ground ball to second base. There's your first out of the inning. Next batter is Brian Giles. And Giles hits one into right field. The no-hit bid is done.
And rightfully so. Probably the best all-around hitter is Giles. But not a whole lot of offense in San Diego. And, no hit, it could be a possibility.
Well, next batter, Mike Piazza, and there's your double play. Nice effort by Vercall. Maddux, by the way, 3rd pitcher this season to have a no-hitter through 6 innings twice. Zambrano, Randy Johnson, the other 2. Well, the Red Sox had the best closer in baseball much of this season, but will Jonathan Papelbon's future not be in the bullpen? Hear it from the horse's mouth. Plus, the Marlins need to get their ace to bring his A game. How Dontrell got it done in a huge wild card contest. Marlins and Braves, Dontrell Willis, 3-1 with a 2 ERA in his last 5 starts. Lance Cormier, meanwhile, not so impressive on this day. He was roughed up early. Cody Ross into right. Well, Jeff Francoeur forgot one important thing: catch the ball. Ross is going to circle the bases for what I like to call a T-ball home run. Officially, it's a base hit and a 3-base error, but damage is done, and the Marlins with a 4-0 lead.
Buster had about 12 of those.
I definitely had a 12. That was the only chance I had.
Yeah.
Dan Uggla going up top for the 25th time, and it's 6-1 Florida.
Almost everybody's NL Rookie of the Year right there. Almost everybody.
Bottom 2, Dontrell. Give up a 2-run single, but he regains focus, getting Renteria, Matt Diaz, 7 1/3, 6 strikeouts for Willis, and a 6-4 victory. And Uggla, you say he's the Rookie of the Year? Well, he's done something that hasn't been done in a long time. He and Josh Willingham, both with 25 home runs, the second pair of rookie teammates to get there ever. It was Al Rosen and Luke Easter for the 1950 Indians.
So you're picking against Ryan Zimmerman?
I'm picking against Ryan Zimmerman.
Wow.
This team is almost about to make the playoffs, possibly.
Matt Cain would be in there, too.
Reds, Cubs, Juan Mateo, Scott Hatteberg, check swing, and Aramis Ramirez getting dirty. Not a lot of offense to show you from this game, but there was one mighty swing from David Ross. 19 home runs.
He's had a great year.
Yes, he has. 3-run shot makes it 4-0 Reds, and that would be plenty for Bronson Arroyo.
Zing.
That Frisbee, it's very frustrating as a hitter because it keeps on breaking, and it's slow enough to get you off balance. And then you think you can catch it. You think you can get it, but it just keeps on breaking. 8
scoreless, 7 strikeouts, and a 4-0 victory.
Was that a wiffle ball?
That's what it looks like.
It was a T-ball.
Yeah, wiffle ball.
Padres 2 games up on the Phils now, 3 up on the Giants and Marlins, who are back over 500, and the Reds a game under the break-even mark. And speaking of the Padres, another mobile ESPN alert from Chavez Ravine. Doug Brocale on the bunt. And look at him, pull up lame, and that looks like a hammy.
It does. They basically had to help him off the field. Broke has had so many health issues this year. Of course, at the beginning of the year, 99% blockage in one of his chambers in his heart. Had to get that corrected, and now, I mean, this is a type of injury. Certainly, you could see him not pitching again in the regular season.
Yeah.
Tough break for the Pods. Maddox with a one-hitter through 7. Check the phone again for the Sox and the A's. 3-2 Oakland. First and third, 1 out. Brandon McCarthy induces the 4-6. Oh, but the throw to first is late. Peyton then steals second and scores, so it's 4-2 A's. Meanwhile, reports today out of Boston, Buster, that Jonathan Papelbon might not be in the bullpen next season, despite the unbelievable year he's had as a first-year closer. What do you know?
He did. He talked to reporters before today's game, the rain out at Yankee Stadium, and what he basically told them is it is his intention to be a starter next year, and it makes sense for 2 reasons. First, you can regulate the workload of a starting pitcher better than you can a relief pitcher. We saw him at the end of the year. Blowout is not really, he separated his shoulder throwing this pitch, and one of the reasons why the doctors thought this happened was because he had a tired shoulder. If he's working out of the rotation, you're not at risk for that as much. Second reason why we know that front office with the Red Sox going into the season, they preferred to keep him in the starting rotation because they feel like that you can simply get more outs out of a starting, more bang for your buck, so to speak, if he pitches out of the rotation. Now, here's the problem for the Red Sox. With Papelbon likely to move out of the bullpen, not a lot of great options on the free agent market. Maybe the best one, Eric Gagne, Francisco Cordero. Brewers likely will pick up that team option or work out some kind of deal with him. It may be that they're going to have to look for an internal solution, maybe Keith Folk, maybe a Craig Hansen. But there are not a lot of great solutions. We know, being a closer in Boston, a lot of pressure up there.
And it's crazy because you realize what has happened with Boston. I mean, at the beginning of the season, they didn't need him to start. They had 5 quality starters. Everything looked great, and this guy was lights out. And now, so many changes for the Boston, and I agree with it. I agree with Buster that they should go ahead and take advantage of this kid as a starter, and then he can work on his arm and strengthen his arm in between starts. So that's probably the safest thing to do. But not a whole lot of quality starters available. I mean, relievers available. I think Greg Hansen is going to be maybe given the chance.
I guess it's a good problem to have, right? Having a guy with the talent of Jonathan Papelbon and
like that,
having to decide where to put him and use him best.
Oh, he's a stud.
Well, due up on baseball tonight, Alfonso Soriano. He's got his clubbing shoes on, trying to join one that is oh so exclusive. Could he run himself into history against the Brewers? And a bunch of baseballs were history, some in dramatic fashion, even off of Roger Clemens. We're dialing long distance as we touch them all. Brewers Nationals, Alfonso Soriano, 40 home runs, 39 stolen bases. And Tomaoka not going to help Soriano get himself into the record books because he throws it clear down the right field line.
Frank Robinson said he feels like Soriano's kind of pressing on the issue, and you can see always looking to take advantage there.
It's amazing you can press trying to get a steal. I mean, what do they say? Speed doesn't slump? Carlos Villanueva gets Soriano. By the way, Villanueva replaced Oka, who left with a strained right hammy. That didn't make Alfonso feel any better because he whiffs again, and the Brewers win the game 5-2. Jeff Jenkins had a couple of home runs. Mobile ESPN alert from where else? Chavez Ravine. Pods and Dodgers, 2-0 LA, bottom 7. And there goes Marlon Anderson. Got a great jump off of second base. And, well, Mike Piazza has thrown out 12 of 103 base stealers this year.
Yeah, that's a problem. Something to think about. Piazza, Jose Reyes matching up in the postseason.
Yes, sac fly makes it 3-0 LA. Maddox with a one-hitter. Angels Rangers, a great pitcher's duel. Jared Weaver, awesome. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts as he gets Hank Blaylock. But in the ninth, this one's still very much undecided. 1-0 Halos. Frankie Rodriguez, Blaylock, big time.
K-Rod's been pitching a whole lot. Maybe just like at the end of last year, kind of wearing down a little bit.
Gary Harrison scores to tie it at 1. In the 11th, Vladdy Guerrero. I wouldn't go there.
Oh, definitely don't go there.
He's a good mistake hitter, isn't he?
Oh, mistake? Just letting go of the ball and throwing it to him is a mistake.
Yeah, well, honestly, the Rangers...
the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you pretty much expect. And Weaver gets a no decision, but the Angels get a big victory. Again, the A's leading the White Sox. Devil Rays and Blue Jays. Roy Halladay looking for win number 17, and Delman Young befuddled, but the ball gets away. Sean Riggins, no relation to Sean Figgins, scores, and it's 1-0 Rays. Bottom 9, 3-1. Frank Catalanato up the middle. Tomas Perez tries to go to third, but Aaron Hill scores to make it 3-2. Now tied at 3, Adam Lind with the bases loaded. Nothing doing. Seth McClung gets him. We go extras. In the 10th, it is 4-3 Tampa Bay, and Hill is king on this day. Walk off, my friend, walk off for the first time in his young career, and a dramatic 5-4 victory for the Blue Jays. Seems like a good segue to touch the ball, huh? We begin with the young Cleveland Indian, Ryan Garco. And how about this? First rookie to homer off of Santana this season. Ryan Sheely, speaking of rookies.
Guy's huge.
He's a big dude.
6'6", swings a really good bat.
I talked to third baseman Martin a few days ago. He said this guy is the type of guy who can make a huge impact on a lineup.
Yeah, he's the real deal. Brandon Inge had such a nice year defensively, offensively. 24 home runs, 3 grand slams now in his career. Dan Uggla.
Everybody's Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Boy, he does have a buggy whip swing rate.
Yeah, he does. He's quick, and he's got the short arms, gets through the zone quick.
Pat Burrell, grand slam off of Clemens. 6th guy to do that.
They let him off the bench.
Well, he might see some more swings now. Jeff Jenkins once, Jeff Jenkins twice. Still one of the most classic uppercuts in the game.
Wasn't he benched?
Yes, he was.
Yes,
he sure was.
Yeah.
Hitting pretty well for a guy who was benched.
And only because Gabe Gross got hurt did he sort of get his way back into the lineup. Chris Duncan twice.
Nice swing. He's a big guy, but he's got a very nice compact swing. I tell you what, he picked the right thing to be a hitter, not a pitcher.
Yeah, and Scotty Rowland goes yard twice. In fact, first time that a pair of Cardinals have done that in the same game since all the way back on June 24th. Jim Edmonds, Sotaguchi.
That long?
That long. You got to go all the way back. And all the way back to the wall and over the wall for Aaron Hill's first career walk-off home run.
The Sayonara Club. Bye-bye.
I'll do up. We play a little defense. Nick Markakis back in the Web Gems. We had some great plays counting down the top 5. But first, Trey Wingo, what's coming up on NFL Live? Rockies, Diamondbacks, and the Snakes fans showing their appreciation for Luis Gonzalez. Of course, the front office saying that Gonzo will not be back next season. Boy, he's meant a lot to that franchise.
He said before the game, no hard feelings.
He's a class act.
Well, and the class act got himself a sacrifice fly to tie the game in the 3rd. And Brandon Webb didn't need much more than that. Gets Clint Barmas and Brad Hoff, and Webb going to finish what he started. Matt Holliday leading off the 9th. And Webb making a case, Buster, for the NL Cy Young.
Wouldn't be my pick. I still have Chris Carpenter, but you know what? You can make a great case for this guy. 16 wins.
ERA under 3, and back-to-back great starts for Webb. 10 strikeouts and a 5-1 victory. And your National League batting leaders, there's Mr. Holliday, just 9 points off the pace. Miguel Cabrera leads Freddie Sanchez by just 2 points. Good defense to get to on a Friday. Top 5 gems, beginning with Joe Mauer. And sometimes it's the arm, sometimes it's the glove, sometimes it's the leg that gets you the Web gem.
Yeah, and he starts setting up this play as soon as the ball was hit. He's looking at what's coming. He's looking at what's coming. And watch him swipe his leg, the left leg there, and just deny completely, like a hockey goalie, that puck from scoring.
Yeah, and Andy Marte is not a small man either.
No.
Yeah, and that was a big run. It sent the game to game wound up going to extras. Of course, the Indians won anyway. Jay Payton, nice catch against the buggy.
You know what's tough in that part of the field? Look how the outfield wall retreats in certain parts. It's hard to read exactly where that fence is.
Cody Ross. Now, this is difficult on several levels. You've got 3 guys converging, and watch the second baseman Uggla stick the glove up, and somehow Ross concentration.
The best thing about it is that he was able to pull away for a second and look at his second baseman for a quick second, find the ball again, and he was able to make the catch.
Check out this funky double play by the Rangers. Blaylock, second base, Kinsler turns it.
Yeah.
Falling backwards in foul territory.
Yeah.
And then falling backwards from second, somehow gets enough on it to Tex.
Now this one.
Now, this is just Brandon Inge at his best.
Shades of Brooksy.
And again, the converted catcher.
And he's done this several times this year. Watch how he throws before he even looks as to where he's throwing to. He knows how to do this play so well that he starts throwing before his eyes really show where he's throwing to.
Dodgers and Padres still going. Nomar Garciaparra, by the way, left that game with some sort of thigh injury. Of course, they'll have full details.